So today I'm doing a book tag, kind of an older book tag, and it's entitled The Grinch Book Tag, which is kind of setting for this month. So stick around to see what it's all about. So, hey friends, Roger here, and welcome to my channel, Roger's Reads. So today I'm doing the Grinch Book Tag, and this is kind of an old tag. I think it was done originally in 2014, and it was created by Sam from her channel, Thoughts on Tomes, and I'll put a link to the original video down below. So though it's an older tag, it is new to me. So I thought, what the heck, it's timely for the holiday season, so I thought I'd do it. Now, my channel is usually pretty positive, or at least I strive to make it so. So we're stepping outside of the box a little bit with today's tag and talking about annoying elements in books or annoying books in general. So today I'm going to be kind of a Grinch. So if I'm talking about your favorite book, don't be offended. These are just some of the things that I found in books that didn't work for me. So let's get on to the tag. The first one is, number 1, half of the lights on the Christmas tree are burnt out. Name a book series character that started out good, but then went downhill. So for that, I think I'm going to go with the Sookie Stackhouse series by Charlene Harris. Both the books and the movies, actually, or the series, I should say. I lost interest in both of them toward the end. I recall that I really didn't like the last books in the series, and I felt that should have ended a few books earlier. And I did not even finish the last season of True Blood, which was the name of the television series. So the next question is, or challenge is, annoying a great Aunt Sally who will not leave you alone. Name a book that you didn't enjoy, but everyone else seems to love, so it never goes away. So for that, I'm going to go with The Lord of the Flies by William Golding. And I know I'm an outlier here. Most people just love this book, but I hated this book the first time that I read it as a kid, and I read it a few years ago. I actually tried to read it, but I ended up DNFing it, so I hated it just as much then. I felt that it was just so agonizing to get through. I don't know, the story just didn't grab me, and it's not because it's disturbing, as I do tend to gravitate towards disturbing books that are creepy and unsettling. There was just something about this story that didn't do it for me. So the next one is, your pets keep knocking over the Christmas decorations. Name a character that kept messing things up for everyone else, and you can't pick a villain. So for this one, I thought about this one a bit. I just pulled this up a few minutes ago. And the one that came to mind was The Kill Club by Wendy Hurd. She found herself inadvertently a member of this murder club where somebody will murder somebody for you, but then you have to murder a stranger for them. And things didn't go quite as planned when Wendy didn't fulfill her portion of the bargain, so which kind of ruined it for everyone else. Another one that came to mind might be Neil Shusterman, the Ark of the Size series. And Rowan, he kind of caused a lot of problems for the other sides in the Sidedom. So I'll go with those two. The next one, you hear your parents putting out the presents and learn Santa isn't real. Name a book you were spoiled for. So this one is easy. This one will be Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I was reading an article about writing. Actually, I think it was in the Writer's Digest a couple of years ago, and the author spoiled the ending of Rebecca. Now, okay, I wouldn't have minded so much, but as it turned out, I had just picked up Rebecca. I was about a third of the way through it, so needless to say, I was pissed. Perfect example of once you see it, you can't unsee it. So yeah, I was kind of bummed that they ruined Rebecca for me. And for the most part, I think that's the only one I can think of, because usually I don't read reviews of books that I haven't read yet, or maybe I'll just skim reviews just to make sure there's not a cliffhanger. I usually will do a search for cliffhanger because I will not read books that end up on a cliffhanger. Because most of the booktubers are pretty good about reviewing books and not spoiling them and if they do spoil them, it's usually in the title so you know ahead of time. So the next one is, it's freezing outside. Name a character you just couldn't connect with. So for that, I'm going to go with both Emo and Brighton, the brothers from the book entitled Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. Now, typically, I really enjoy this author's books, but this one just did not work for me. And, I can't remember if the story was told just from Emo's point of view, or Emil's point of view, or both their points of view, but I think it was Emil's. But yeah, I could not make the connection with either of them, and I did not end up enjoying this book. Probably the only Adam Silvera book that I didn't enjoy. And I know I pronounced his name Emo. That's because I have an uncle whose name is Emo, and he pronounced it Emo, not Emil. So, in case you're wondering. So the next book, Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, is giving you anti-romantic feelings. Name a couple that you couldn't stand. So for this one, I think I'm going to go with Bella and Edward from the Twilight series. And yes, I did read the entire Twilight series as well as saw the movies. I thought the relationship was kind of toxic and problematic on many levels. And their relationship just never set my heart aflutter and caused me to root for their happily ever after. I guess I'm more Team Jacob, I guess. I really like Jacob. But then again, if you have to choose between a corpse and a dog, at least I'd go for the one that's warm, right? Choosing for a corpse, it makes me think of a line from The Vampire Armand by Anne Rice, where one of the characters says, I love cuddling with dead things. So there you are. The next book, the next challenge or question, the scratchy homemade wool sweater you got for Christmas years ago but won't get rid of. Show some books that have been sitting on your shelves for a while and you aren't motivated to read, but you don't have the heart to get rid of. Okay, well, the first off is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. And I've heard both good things and bad things about this series. This is one of those series that I kind of wonder why I bought it, but I did get a good deal on it. So there was that. I think I got all three of them for pretty cheap. It was on eBay, I do believe. But I don't know, it's just really hard for me to find the motivation to read them. Those are the only three, really. I try to get everything else I have on my TBR, I pretty much want to read. Is there anything else that I can think of? Children of Blood and Bone. Actually, I didn't want to read I bought the first one, but then I found out that it ended up on a horrible cliffhanger, which would have pissed me off. So I thought I'd wait until I got the second one. So I did get the second one just not that long ago, and I do want to read both of them. So hopefully in 2021, I will get to those. So the next one is Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. Name a character's death you are still mad about and warn people for spoilers. You can also use TV or movie deaths. So I will say, for that one, I'm going to go with the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. And I will not say any names, but a beloved character in the Mistborn series was killed off. And I was like, WTF. There's no way that Sanderson killed off this character. But alas, they did, and that person remained dead. So yeah, I was kind of upset about that, because I really liked this character. So next up is, the malls are overly crowded with holiday shoppers. Name a series that has too many books in it or went on too long. So for that one, I probably will go with the Harry Dresden series. I do believe it's up to 17 books now. And I actually started reading this series and I stopped after book 8. But I do want to get back to them because I really enjoyed this series. So maybe once I get back into it, I won't think that it went on too long. 17 books is a lot of books, though, and I don't know if he's still writing more or not. Another series that I've been wanting to delve into is the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, which was then picked up by Brandon Sanderson later on. And there are a shit ton of books in this series as well. And that's kind of why I'm hesitant to jump into it on books with so many novels. So, and then actually this is the last question, is The Grinch. Name a main character you hate. And again, no villains. So for this one, I'm going to go with Haley, the main character in What I Like About You. She was pretty much dishonest and dishonorable. I thought lots of lying. But what really made me crazy was that she continuously bashed adult readers of young adult novels and adult bloggers over and over throughout the novel. Of course, this ended up sounding more like the opinion of the author, especially given that the character maintained her opinion throughout the novel about how exhausting adults who read young adult novels are until the end of the novel. What I found was strange was she basically stated that flat out that people only have a small window with which one can read young adult novels. So I wonder how other young adult authors feel about this, given that a lot of the readership are people over the age of 18. So so needless to say, I was not a fan of this novel. But I try not to trash books too much on this channel, but that one, nah. So that is the Grinch tag. Have you done this tag? You may have, because it's way, way old already. What was it? 2013, 2014? 2014. But if you haven't done this tag, then give it a go. And let me know in the comments if you do, and I'll come check your channel out or your video out. So that about does it. As always, I thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your support. And if you like this video, I really appreciate if you click the like button below, as that really helps my channel out. And that'll do it. I will talk to you all in the next video. Roger and out.